Chang here and welcome to my channel. This is the skill building video series where basically I cut out long explanations and I focus on step by step how to solve specific problems. We are focusing on building specific skills so that when you see problems like this, you know instantly what to do. So let's begin. Today we're going to focus on converting fractions into decimals. Now, in order to convert a fraction into decimal, there's actually only one step that you have to follow. What you're going to do is you're going to get the numerator of the fraction, which is the top part, and you're going to divide it by the denominator of the fraction, which is the bottom part. After you divide it, this is where it gets interesting. There's three possibilities. The first one is the one that we love the most. After you divide the numerator by the denominator, the decimals eventually just ends. And once it ends, you're done, it's finished, it's converted. The second one is where the decimals actually start repeating itself. In this case, what you're going to do is you're going to put a bar on top of where it's repeating itself to indicate that those sections are going to continuously repeat itself. Now, the third one is one where if the problem asks you to round to a specific decimal place, or it's implied somehow, then just do that. Don't continue trying to convert the rest of the decimal. Just stop where it asks you to stop and then you are done. Alright, so here's our practice problem. Now each and every one of them is tailored so that you can see the three different possibilities when you're converting fractions into decimals. Well, let's just start off with the first one. Here we have 2 over 5. The 2 is our numerator, the 5 is our denominator. So we're going to divide 2 by 5. Well, in this case, we're going to have 5 on the outside with 2 on the inside. Well, 5 can't go into 2, so we're going to do decimal right here, decimal right here. Now this is like a 20. 5 divided into 20, that's 4. So we're going to do 20, subtract, that's 0. So once it hits 0, we are done. So for the answer for this one is 0.4. Excellent. Now, let's work on the next one. 3 over 8. Well, 8's going to be on the outside. 3 is on the inside. 8 can't go into 3, so decimal, decimal 0. So it's almost like 30. 8 goes into 30. What is that? 3 times, we have 24. Subtract, we have 6. Now after a decimal, you can add as many zeros as you want, so let's just bring another 0 down. 8 goes into 60. What is that? 7 times? 56. Subtract, you have 4. Bring down another 0, and that's 40. Well, 8 goes into 45 times, so in this case, subtract 40. You have 0, so that means we're done here. We have 0.375. There we go. Now, these two are examples of basically decimal that ends after a certain number of steps in the division. That's it. It is finished. Well, let's move on to the next one. Here we have 1 over 3. Well, we have 3 on the outside, 1 on the inside. Now, 3 can't go into 1, so decimal, decimal 0. Now it looks like a 10. 3 goes in 10 3 times, which is 9. You're going to subtract 9 and then 1. Now, here's where hopefully you notice a little pattern. Well, I mean, we can put another 0, and then we're going to do another 3 because we have 10, so we're going to subtract 9, and then we're going to have 1 again. So this one is an example of a repeating decimal. So this is going to continue with 3 on forever. So rather than writing it on forever, to save us time, what we're going to do is we're going to write a little bar on top of the number that is actually repeating itself, in this case a 3. So to actually write this answer is going to be 0.3 with a bar on top. There we go. Okay. Now let's work on 5 over 6. Well, let me just clear this part out so that we have a little more room to work with. Okay. 5 over 6. Well, let's see. We have 6 right here. We have 5 on the inside. Well, 6 can't go into 5. Decimal, decimal 0. Let's just make the decimal easier to see. Okay. 6 goes into 50. What is that? 8 times. So that's 48. Subtract. We have 2. Let's just carry another 0 down. Well, 6 goes into 20. What is that? 3 times. We have 18, subtract, and then 2, and we're going to carry another 0, 0 down. Now we notice that that's going to go 3 again, so this 3 is going to repeat. So, like the other one, what's repeating? Only the 3. So we're not actually going to put the bar on the 8, only 3 because the 3 itself is the one that's repeating. So we have 0.83, and the bar is on the 3 itself. That is our answer for this one. Okay, these are two examples of repeating decimals. So just put the bar to indicate what number is repeating, and then we're done with that. Well, let's look at the bottom one. The bottom one clearly has instruction. Round to the 10th, round to the 100th. Well, let's just work on this one. 6 over 7. Okay, we have 7 here with 6 on the inside. Can't do much. Decimal, decimal 0. 7 goes into 60. What is that? 8 times. Okay, so that's 56. Subtract, and then we have 4 and carry down a 0. 7 goes into 45 times, and that is subtract 35. And here at this point, I'm going to stop because there's really no need to continue. We're looking for rounding it to the nearest 10th. So in this case, 10th is where the 8 is right now, immediately after the decimal. The number next to 8 is 5, so this would have to round up. Now, that would mean that this is going to be 0.9. Now, before I continue and say this is the answer, what I need you guys to do is to make sure that you draw this little squiggly line. This little squiggly line means that it's about that. Because guess what? 6 over 7 is not equal to 0.9. It's just about 0.9. So there we go. That's for this one. Now we have the last one. We have 2 over 3 round to the nearest hundredth. So we have 3 on the outside with 2 on the inside. Okay, can't do anything, so decimal, 0, that's 20. Goes in there 6 times, it's gonna be 18, subtract, and then now you have 2. Okay, well, if we're gonna bring down to 0, we realize that it's gonna repeat ourselves, so it's gonna keep on going with 6. So this is another one that 6 goes on forever. But since the instruction tells us to round it to the nearest hundredth, in this case, we're just gonna do that. Now, this is the hundredth place, immediately after the first. The 10th, this is the hundredth. So the number next to it is a 6, indicating that you actually have to round up. Well, when you round up in this case, it's actually going to be 0.67. Now, like the other one, remember, this is actually repeating on forever, but since we're rounding, it's about this. Not exactly that, but about that. There it is. So these are 6 practice problems to show you the different possible result when you're converting fractions into decimal. Hopefully it helps. I will see you in the next video.